We're talking about this book, Metaphysics. Metaphysics is our way of talking about theology, which is our way of talking about the nature of everything. And it starts with the most fundamental idea that essentially you are not the skin and bones that many people claim to be. There's more to you than meets the eye. Now I think we all are in this room because we hope that's at least true. But unity has this idea that essentially there is a divine mind. It's another way of describing the infinite, which cannot be named. They have a name for God called mind with a capital M. And from this mind has come ideas. And all the ideas that come from the mind of God, that mind that is God, that infinite presence, the absolute, all that comes from that is perfect. According to unity, the real world is the divine mind. This is more real because it is permanent, it lasts, it endures forever. It is the source of all things. It is more creative, more alive than anything that has shown up on the page. Just as the sun is bigger than anything you're going to see on your page of here. This, and all we see, is just a step down of the divine. And so we often think, if I want to change my world, what I need to do is go over here on the page and readjust these lights. Put more red in it, take out some of the blue, or something like that. That becomes we spend our time over here. And what unity is saying, nay, come back to the prison, adjust the prison to be more in line with the divine mind, and you will have a clear experience of beauty, justice, life, love, wisdom. Now in unity they use Jesus as the great example, not so much the great exception. And this is a fine point, but a big one, in the sense that Jesus was not the only guy who could do this, who could take a divine idea and express it through himself. That is essentially our own calling, is that we take divine ideas and we express them through ourselves. We become more like the divine. And Jesus used a series of affirmations to help himself in that process. One is, I am the way, the truth, and the light. Now he's claiming the light, the truth, he's claiming all that as himself. And this pyramid, this prism of himself, is moving its identity over here. Instead of, I am the daughter of a woman who was pregnant before she was married in a small country of insignificance. He could have identified with the outpicturing of his life at the beginning, couldn't he? Among his peers, he was probably laughed at times because they knew when he got born, and it was before his time. In a culture that makes that a big negative on your life, he could have chosen that. But he chose not to identify with the outpicturing, but with this grand idea that I and the Father are one, that the source of all existence and this consciousness are the same. Pretty bold. You may want the wise one to show up sometime, but maybe not all the time. I mean, how boring at a party. You've run into those people, right? Couldn't crack a smile if they had to. They know what they're talking about, but who needs them, right? So you may want to bring out the childish, fun one at the party, the happy one, the one who tells stories. That one. But somewhere you're going to need that wise one. It's good to know your caste that lives within us, the village that lives inside us. It's really good to know it, and it's really good to also know how to step back and watch what's happening. We need to also turn our attention this way, to the one, to the source of all of it, and pay attention to that. If we pay attention to the highest ideals of who we are, of the highest ideals of what life could be like, then we are drawn in consciousness in that direction. And as we are drawn in that direction, we reorganize the way our minds work. No longer are we just simply about what has happened. We're about the enormous potential of what is waiting to happen through us. What is possible through us. What is heroic. What is kind. What is generous. What is loving. What is pure. What is grace itself. That is waiting, ready, and able to show through us the more and will more and more do that as we look more and more in that direction. And as we affirm, this is who we are. Not just this. This is who we are. This is a reversal of the attention from out there to in there. And hanging with the best of all that is, with God, with the Christ nature of who we are. And you will probably get some signal as you practice it, if you haven't already got one, that tells you, oh yeah, I'm really listening now. I'm listening. I still may not know what it's going to do, but I can trust that it's moving through me and ready to lead me as in the most direct path to my good that can come. And then trust. And then trust. I surrender and then trust. I give it over. Give me your thought. Run through me as me. And then trust.